All right. So welcome everyone, you made it. We've got a brand new experience for you today, variable, and I'm so excited to share it with you guys. I love researching. I'm a researcher, I'm an investigator. I have 10 line ones. I love to go deep. I love the next rabbit hole. I love the next thing on human design that pops through my system. I don't learn anything until it's my time to learn it. I just people can talk about variable all they want, and I'm like, don't really get it. And then one day it pops through my system, and I'm like, this is the most important information in the world. Everyone must know it. So it's just how it is for me, and everybody integrates human design differently, and it's magical to let it integrate into your life. It's magical to have these experiences. And today I'm really honored to bring you this new introduction to variable. Variable is such a fun topic, and I'm going to present it in a way that hopefully you've never heard before. If you're brand new to variable, do not worry. I'm going to introduce it in a way that you will understand. For those of you who are advanced, I'm going to give you some new insights and ways to perceive it in ways you've never seen it before. So I want to say hello to everyone who is here live. I'm so happy to see you. I see some beautiful faces there. I'm so happy to see you, Lisa, and I see Chris, I see Tina, I see Carrie, I see Lyra, I see Lucille, I see Sonny, I see all your beautiful faces. I'm so happy you're here. For those of you who are listening into the recordings, I'm truly honored for your time, and I'm going to make this incredibly worthy of your time. I'm going to give you everything I have. I'm going to give you all my inspiration, all my insight, all my observations. Why? Because human design has changed my life and my clients. When they integrate it, their worlds begin to open up. Things get amazingly better for them, particularly when they integrate the mindset pieces as well to move through any blocks that people might be having. But these two things together create massive changes in people's lives. Now, if you are brand new to my work, my name is Raquel Reina. I'm here with my partner, Davidian. We're having a little technology issues behind the scenes, but besides that, we're good to go. I am a radical human design teacher. I teach all of the human design certifications. I have my own certification school, and I also have a mastermind program where I take people through their human design to help them unleash businesses, careers, jobs based on themselves. Today we are doing variable, and every class I start in the energy because I am a spiritual practitioner. My background is working with the shamans. I was introduced to my spiritual path through the shamans, and I have the shamanic channel. So I learned about the shamans way before I knew my human design, but it all makes sense, doesn't it always? So we're going to start with an energetic experience. What I do is I take you out of your beta consciousness. So if you've been in your thinking mind, go, 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 I'm going to take you into your alpha. I'm going to take you into your theta. I'm going to take you into higher frequencies so that the information absorbs in a great new way. And hopefully for those of you who are, a little bit more open, you'll just receive. Those of you who are a little more focused, you'll get exactly what you need, referring to variable, but don't worry, I'll explain all of that. So what that means, I ask everybody who is here live to take a minute to close down your screens, close your phones, don't get in an accident if you're driving, and get ready for the centering. I ask that everybody who's here live to type a yes in the chat if you are ready to center. I put in a little music to give you guys a little feel, a little vibe, and take you to the multidimensional states. So let me go ahead and do this for y'all. And thank you again for everybody who's here live and giving me the yes in the chat. So I know that you're ready for this experience. So hold on a minute. Let me. Hey, we got the vibe. It looks like everybody's ready. We're getting a yes. Michelle says yes. Sonny, you guys to just enjoy this experience today, give you a little boost and some fun learning because learning is my favorite thing to do. Usually I bring in all of those who love to learn the spiritual way. So everybody go ahead and take in a breath with me. Bring your attention here into the room, into your body, and allow yourself to be without the list, without anything you need to do later today or anything that happened earlier. Right now, just be in this sacred moment. I want to really honor each and every one of you for giving yourself the time and the space to learn, to explore, to try new things. Breathe in with me. And feel what happens when you get out of the thinking mind. Feel into the vibration and the frequency of the here and the now. Today, what we are going to be looking at is the power of the physical vehicle. So feel your body. Feel how it pumps the blood. Maybe you're hungry. Maybe you're tired. Maybe you've got a cramp. Maybe you're sore. Whatever. Feel the actual physical body. Now I want you to feel the mind, how different it is. Has thoughts, has worries, but it's different. Today we're going to look at the dance between the physical body and the mind. How do they relate to each other? Are they going in opposite directions? Are they connected? Are they confused? Is one fast? Is one slow? These are two very different energies. Today, I want you to just breathe in and allow yourself to pop into the higher frequency of the witness. Trust all of the wisdom coming through today, how it's going to come through, and allow it to pop in new ways. Allow yourself to be inspired to use this information for your manifestations. Breathe in. Now bring your attention back here into the room, back into the space. As I'm getting our slides together, go ahead and type in a few words about your here and now. What is present for you today? Even if you know it, I like to start at the foundation. I'm very foundational with the line one. You need to know the foundation. Okay? So today that's what we're going to be talking about. What is variable? Why is it important? And why do you need to know it? And what is it? Where do you find it? I'm going to show you all these things. Okay. So variable is to awareness. What type is to form? So what that means is that your type has to do with your physical body. So when I say form, that means your vehicle, your body. And awareness is the tool for the transformation of how you are aware on the earth plane, how you are receiving information, utilizing that information for your manifestation. And what I love so much about human design is you can see all of the self-help, all of the law of attraction, all the manifestation tools, and why it will work for some people some of the times, but not all of the people, right? And you can see where you fit in with all of that information. And so this is why I love giving you these little pieces, particularly if you're, most of us want something in our lives. That's just human nature. We're here to grow and to self-actualize. Some people may be fully happy with every level. They have the career, the job they love, their physical vehicles in perfect health, their relationships are, just amazing. But usually there's one piece of the puzzle that we all would like to transform just a little bit because we're here on the earth plane to grow. And in order to learn how to grow, it helps to understand who you are and learn yourself in new ways. And so today we're going to learn this little deeper area of awareness. Okay. So the human design knowledge is really focused on the body. The strategy and inner authority is a way of turning away from the mind control. We talked about this a lot. Do I have any of my certification students here? I think, who do we have here? Maybe just Lucille. It's just Lucille? Oh, Lucille and Tina. Oh, wait, Vicky's here too. Okay, good, good. Well, she's a grad. She's a grad. um, so we talked a lot about this yesterday, the mind and the body. But we all come from the history. Every single person here, everybody on the earth plane right now comes from the history of the mind controlling the destiny. That's where we've been taught how we learn things. It's just across the board what happens, right? The mind is complicated. So you can't do this any other way, meaning taking the power of the mind out of the controlling of the destiny, but stripping away from its power. And that's what strategy and inner authority does. It's here to strip away the power of the mind controlling your destiny, right? So the variable provides us with a clear map of your cognitive architecture, meaning it's your practical guide to how your mind perceives the world, and it ignites your awareness. Okay, therefore, it's how you experience life. Now, this is really interesting to me because I think that a lot of people are getting diagnosed with ADD, ADHD. I asked you guys to be contemplating this. If you were looking at the email, there's a lot of things in the chart that may have that kind of energy, splits, and various different things. MGs operate in a lot of speed in the mind, but I'm curious, how many of you here have experienced ADD, ADHD, even if it's like, oh, I can't stay focused, or maybe you've already been diagnosed. And what this part of human design really helps us to kind of look at it from a different perspective. So I'm curious, anybody here who's here alive, have you ever experienced like, I can't focus, or you're working on something and it's like shiny object syndrome, this kind of thing? Elpida says, yes, MG. Okay, good. Totally. The ADD spectrum. Okay, good. Good, good, good. So I'm glad you guys have just contemplated it just a little bit. Vicky says, yep. Okay, good. So, and it's not a perfect explanation. There's so many things in the chart where this may show up, but I do think the chart helps us to kind of look at it from other perspectives and give it different ways of dealing with it as part of your experiment, right? Okay. So I want to talk about this with you from this really interesting, deep, deep perspective. Okay. Understanding how the mind and body interacts is like having an open door to the world beneath the glacier. You finally get to see what is hidden. The depth of your subconscious and how it interacts with your mind and with your body, right? How these things interact is revealed in variable. It's like we get to go now into the glacier. Now, this is what really kind of interests me about this is, and I really want you guys to contemplate this. Has anybody here heard of Bruce Lipton? So if you've studied Bruce Lipton, do you love him? I love him too. Yeah, he's amazing. And he wrote this book, The Biology of Belief. And he was the person who first helped us really understand, there's many, many people that help us understand this, but he researched this in his scientific discoveries and testing, um, that he was the first person to help us really understand that our genes do not limit us to a lifetime of bad genes due to genetic information from the family. He discovered that it was more based on the interpretation of and the environment, i.e., how our beliefs shape our biology, right? So if you know his story, he figures out, and this is very simple terms, in simple terms, that he could create his own reality within certain confines, right? So once you realize you can create your reality, you have an influence on your genes. It's not like all of a sudden you can grow back a missing limb. That's not been, no one's ever done that before. We've seen people heal from paralysis. We've seen people heal things that you didn't think could be healed, right? But we have certain confines. We cannot fly in our physical bodies, right? We cannot change the rising of the sun, the setting of the sun, right? So there's confines in this notion. But his life was an absolute disaster when he came across this awareness. He was fired, he was lost, he was broken relationships, if you know his story. But he was saying, wow, but we can change our genes, we can change our life through our consciousness. And so his students were like, well, if this is true, why is your life such a mess? And it really hit him because he realized that even though he kind of knew it intellectually, he wasn't able to integrate it into his life at that time. And he realized the reason why is because of the power of the subconscious mind. And so he started working in areas of meditation. He started working in the areas of the subconscious. He started working in areas of the deeper, deeper realms so that he could begin realizing that he had the power to influence the subconscious. Now, I notice this also, I talk a lot about this within our human design. Even though we may integrate our strategy and our inner authority, we start learning this stuff and some things start to change. People still have problems in their life. Why can't I still make enough money? Why is this relationship still happening like this? And there's deep-seated, sometimes trauma that creates these types of events over and over and over again. But you have the power to change, and knowledge is power. And so today we're really going to go beneath this surface. Okay. And what in human design we say the surface is the line number, and the surface is the big three: strategy, inner authority, profile. But the variable is beneath this surface. So variable is touching into that deep, deep, glacier. It's like all that material underneath. And some of you, particularly, we're working with this in my mastermind group, is really being present to, even though I know my design and even though I'm integrating my inner authority, I still want A, B, and C to shift in my life. I still want a better job. I still want to make more money. I still want more health. And like, how do we go deeper into this? And I just love the depth and I love the experiment and I love experiencing that with people who are really in that exploration and really willing to try new thoughts on. And so bringing this variable piece to the puzzle is super fun and exciting to me. So I'm going to show you how this substructure works. And then if you feel that you want to go all the way through the deep, deep dive, which is going to be like a full 2-month course on this profile, I'm going to give you guys opportunities to come and join in where we're going to take a full 2 months. I'm going to pull up everybody's charts and we're going to go deeper into the experiment. So you can kind of contemplate if you want to go on that journey with us, because obviously there's 16 variables and each variable is very, very different. And we want to kind of contemplate it. We want to look at our own variable and the depth of it. But let me explain it on a deeper level, okay? So this is the substructure of a hexagram and line. This is going to sound complicated, but here's what I love to do is I love to break it down into a place where it's really, really simple for you, okay? So this might sound complicated, but it's not, okay? So the substructure of the line, the base, the tones, the color. Now, when we're talking about the neutrino stream, how it enters into the crystal, it goes through the base, the tone, and the color. So this is the what's called substructure of a hexagram. Okay. So the lines are the new sorry, this is a little confusing. I meant to say these lines here in this picture are the idea of the neutrino streams moving through the personality crystal. So let me show you guys a little picture of what exactly this means to give you a better grasp of how this fits in with your design. So we have the neutrino stream, and basically this is the breath of the stars. This has been proven in science, and with it is the information of the astrological influences, and it's moving through our bodies. And then we have what Ra calls these personality crystals, and it moves through the entry frequency, which is the base and the tone, and then the exit frequency is the color. Now, the color is where we get things like motivation. So if you guys know your motivation, the fear, the hope, the desire, that's called color. Okay, that's one color. So just as a curiosity, did I lose anybody? Do you guys know this piece of human design, the color? And if I did, don't worry, I'm going to explain it really, really deep, even easier, okay? So let me take it even easier. Let me just get a yes or no if you guys know color. You all know line, right? Because let's start with line. Everybody put in the chat what their line is. So for me, I'm a heretic investigator. I'm a 5-1. That's my line number. So everybody put in what their profile is, right? If you're an investigator, if you're a hermit. Okay, so Michelle's a 1-4, Sonny's a 6-2, 2-4. Okay, good. 6-2, no idea iPhone. Who's the iPhone? 6-3, 6-2, 5-1, splendid projector. 4-6 is Katie. 1-3 is Chris. Okay. 4-6, 2-4. Okay, who's look at it, but I'll show you where to find it. Okay, so hang tight with me. It looks to me like everybody else knows what their profile is, right? Okay. So what that means is when we look at the gate, so the gate is where you see those little lines in your chart. That's a gate, okay? Then the gate has a line number, that's your profile, the color, the tone, and the base, okay? And that's how it's going through. It goes through the line number, the color, the tone, and the base, right? So what really this is saying in the most simple terms is that there are many variations to each gate. Okay, so let me just take a chart so you guys know what I'm talking about here. Okay, so if we look at here, we're looking at the 62. Here we're looking, do you guys see all these areas? We're looking at the 61. So where's the 61? We see the 61 in the head right here where it says 61, that line right there, that's a gate. Okay. So when we look at the 61, let's say 10 of you here had the gate 61. There are so many variations to that gate 61. Okay. So many variations that nobody is going to have the same dimensions to that gate 61, right? Because the gate 61 has the base, which is this number here, this line here, the tone, which is this number here, the line, which is this number here, and then the gate, the line, the color, the tone, the base. So each software will be a little bit different where this is going to show up, but you will see these numbers in every chart. They just look a little bit different based on the chart. What we see here are the 4 arrows. Okay? These are the variables. The 4 arrows come to us here based on the tone. Now, it's not necessarily that you need to understand all of this, but if you do understand it, and if you do hear it, eventually it'll all start to pop. Because really what everybody wants to know is what is mine and what does it mean for me, right? Oh, that's what those are, right? Exactly. And the thing is that's the thing is for me, sometimes when you teach from the foundation, out of the blue, you're like, oh, now it all starts to make sense, right? So this is the variations of the gates. It's all the variations of the gates. So here's another kind of common picture you may see in the human design world is how these activations are, right? So the activations of the gate. So if we're looking at March 17th, 1976 at 3:01, the activation of the gate, it moves through the base, the tone, the color, the line, and then you get the gate. And that's what makes all the channels and the lines and the black and the right. So the tone, if it's 1, 2, and 3, tone 1, 2, and 3, your arrow goes to the left. And if it's tone 4, 5, and 6, your arrow goes to the right. Okay, so that's where the variable is coming from. 4, 5, and 6, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. Okay. So the gate 36 is your favorite one? I love the gate 36 too. All right, so let's go one step deeper. Okay, so the entry is the base. When the not self mind, we know what the not self is, right? So the simple part of the not self is when you see a projector in bitterness, a generator in frustration, a manifester in anger. These are called not self themes, okay? So when the not self mind takes over the consciousness, it's mind over matter. We have a transferred color because the color is in the mind. Now, some of you may get confused and some of you know what I'm talking about. The simple way to explain this is that when you're not living your design, your mind does not perceive the world properly, and you're not able to receive your cognitive gifts. And the tone is where the cognitive gifts really turn on. Okay. So the tone is where I consider the clairvoyancy to be in the chart. A lot of people say you can't find the clairvoyant gifts in the chart, I see it in the tone primarily. There are other places too, but that's where I usually see it. So, how many of you consider yourselves clairvoyant on some level? Clairaudient, clairsentient, clairolfactant. There's so many clairs, it's hard to remember them all. But how many of you have a deeper sense? I usually attract those spiritual beings, those with all the clairvoyant gifts. Very much so. Yeah. Michelle. Yes, yes, Elpida. Elpida. I love it. I'm so happy to have you all here, actually. It moves my heart because I love being with these spiritual beings who have all these gifts. And then we get to fine tune it and reflect a little bit. Did you feel like your life is backwards? Yeah. Oh my God. Smell for me. Oh, that's mine too, Carrie. I love smell. Smell the olfactant. Powerful, powerful. I can smell like illness. Not yet, LOL. Okay, it'll happen. So what happens when we see the world up? So for me, um, on my spiritual path, I was exposed to a very, very powerful shaman when I was very young. I was in my 20s and I was a seeker and I wanted spiritual information. I wanted to go deep. And so I'm a voracious reader. And I go to bed feeling deeply, asking for a spiritual teacher because I wanted to expose my life to something new. And with a series of events, the very next day, the universe brought me a very powerful, one of the world's most powerful shamans in today's world, and his living room with 5, 10 other people before he was famous, and was given the informations of spiritual worlds and shamanism and the ancient mystery schools, the I Ching, the dream world. And being exposed to this level of spirituality caused my life to actually move into crisis because I didn't know how to integrate those gifts. I didn't know how to be on the earth plane. I was very confused on how to make a living and what to do and how to make money. And my spiritual gifts kind of got me in a state of confusion because there was just so much happening, and I felt that I was lied to in so many ways, and I was confused about the world, and I didn't want to just work an ordinary job, and I couldn't then just become a normal worker. I was in this spiritual exploration, and I didn't know human design. So I was really in a tailspin and I was seeing things really upside down. And it took me many, many years of healing work. I got my master's in spiritual psychology. I had to really go deep in the process of who I was. Primarily, it spun me out into a lot of addictions and craziness and chasing wild dreams. Because I'm a projector, I didn't know when enough was enough. And I have the gates of madness and these open centers, and I just needed to learn more. And I really got confused. So the healing journey really helped me. It helped me to sort through where I was spinning out. And I took a lot of time to just heal my physical body, to nourish myself, to plenish with the green juices, with the healing foods, with the healing arts. And I went through the deep spiritual psychology as well. And so my life began to kind of balance out. I did find a career that I liked for a little while. I moved up the corporate ladder. It was an all women's company. So I did find that later in life. And but I knew was having a calling, and I knew I really needed to be in my truth. And I knew that I needed to find a way to integrate my spiritual gifts with the world. and not be, in my corporate career, even though it was safe and I enjoyed it and there was a lot of good things. Every time I tried to make something happen, I studied manifestation, law of attraction. I'd go out and try and do things. Nothing worked for me. I had best friends where it worked for them. People in my community it worked for, but not for me. And that's when the height of the desire to change my life, when I was exposed to the human design piece. So I really, really feel an incredible amount of gratitude for how human design changed my life and how I was able to learn how to operate as a projector. And I had a calling. I didn't realize it, but human design called my soul. Okay, so I am very, very well equipped to understanding when the mind is upside down. I spent many, many years not knowing really who I was, being in the hustle, working in that corporate realm as well. And the thinking mind creates an upside down world of illusions. And I would say that when you look out in the sea of social media, you look out on the sea of what's going on in the world, we see so much confusion out there. We see so many people not able to sort through all of the madness and sort through what's the illusion and what's not. You see, human design is here to provide us with what we need to get through these times. You look at the news, you look at everything, and some things just look fake. Stories that you don't know if they're real. You don't know if you're being manipulated. You don't know if, you know, uh, they're telling you what is for their um agenda or if it's for your good. Okay. And that is on such an extreme level right now. It's going to turn up. That is definitely going to be more extreme. And human design, according to the foundations of human designs, it's for this time in history, 2024, because we're right at the cusp of the shifting of the wheel of 2027, where we're going to have to see things from new perspectives, understand what's happening in the wheel, understand our inner authority to get through the madness and the confusion. Okay, so this is why I'm so, so deeply committed to the power of this information and what it will do for you and how it serves you and how it serves the community. So for me, when I began to see things, now I didn't even know my motivation. When I learned my motivation and I realized, like, for example, today in this class, my motivation is innocent. So for me, it's really about being here with absolutely no agenda, how you guys are going to receive this information. And so I share with you, meaning I share with you how you can go further if you want support in learning this stuff on a deeper level. How you invest in yourself transforms your life. How I can take you into deeper, deeper realms of knowing yourself. I'm going to share it with you without any pressure. If it's not right for you, it's not right for you. Then hopefully you're going to gain everything you need to gain from this one session, right? And some of you are like, oh my God, I have to go more. I have to learn more. And I have to deep dive this stuff and learn all of these layers. And those are the people that the opportunity comes for them to say yes, to move forward in new realms with us in our classes, right? But it's taken me a long time to understand my motivation, my projectorness, my who I am in my business, all the things, right? And this is what allows me to now show up more as myself than I ever have before. I'm not saying I'm perfect. There's a lot more to learn. But when you allow the mind to not be upside down, so many more doors open up. Now, I want to take you one deeper into this variable. Magnetic monopole captures this transferred motivation when the vehicle is not living correctly. So that's just a kind of a fancy way of saying that when you talk about the magnetic monopole, what you're saying is when you're transferred, meaning you're in your not self, you're pulling in things that are not correct for you because the magnetic monopole, it pulls life in. Even if you're a manifester, and I know we have manifestors here on the call, because usually the generator and manifesting generators, they know they pull life in, right? But manifestors do as well because we all have a magnetic monopole. So obviously we're pulling in life. And what this is saying is if you are transferred, you don't pull in the right things. So we talked about the base, the tone, the color. We talked about the entrance frequency. And now what I want to show you is how this shows up in all the arrows. Okay. So this is the place we're going to dive into. So if you guys look at your variables, right, you're going to see 4 arrows. Now, when you remove the color, when you remove anything else, when we're talking about the variable, we're looking at the cognition. Okay, so what we did in the 4 radical transformations is, let me bring you here. Okay, so what we did in the 4 radical transformations is we looked at the variable, but based on the color. Okay, so we looked at the variable based on the color. So what that means is we looked at, so for example, this little stop sign here is the color. This arrow is the variable, right? This triangle is the tone. When we look at the color, it changes based on whether you're going to the left or going to the right. So in this particular situation, we're looking at either consecutive or alternating, right? So if you are looking at color, the diet, the environment, the view, and the motivation, it changes based on the direction of the arrow. Now, what I want to tell you guys today, when we remove the color, we look at just the arrows. So when we look at just the arrows, okay, so in this particular example here, PLL means personality, left, left. DLL means design, left, left. But you'll notice that there's 4 arrows all going to the left here. Now, what this is saying is when we only look at those 4 arrows, your connection to other people with just those 4 arrows is an entirely new dimension of existence because it's beneath the surface. It's a deeper connection. So, for example, everybody who's projector to projector, you guys relate to each other, right? You relate. Projectors, you relate to projectors. Manifestors, you relate to manifestors. Give me a yes or a no in the chat. Do you relate to, or you understand it? Like you relate, like I'm a projector, I know how to relate to generators. When we just look without the 4 radical transformations, without the color, just the arrows, you're connecting with people in a brand new way. So anybody here that has 4 left arrows. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to pull up one of your charts right now. Okay, so give me a second, and this is going to show you in action how this is going to go, okay? So we're only looking at these 4 arrows. 1, 2, 3, 4. She's all left. Okay, I know that you guys followed me. I went deep in all the crazy places, but you came back to the simplicity, which is what I love about human design. Infinitely complex and yet also elegantly simple. Okay. All right. So she's quad left. All her arrows are left. So when we're looking at every single person that's all left, whether they're a manifesting generator, or generator, the way her body and her mind work together is going to relate to each one of those people. They're going to see things very differently than any other combination of those 4 arrows. So Davidian and I, he is an emotional generator and I am a splenic projector. Very different. Why do we feel so connected? We also have 9 and 0, nowhere to go, with if you know the partnership connection. We connect on that level very deeply, but our arrows are the same. We are 3 right and 1 left. And so it just popped in for me so clearly that when you remove the color, you remove the base, you remove the line, you have the cognitive architecture of just the 4 arrows. And each one of these combinations deserve the connection, the depth, and the conversation, how they operate in connection to those 4. Okay, so for example, when we look at how these are all operating, the combinations of the 16 variables, okay, what we find is that we move from the left to the right, okay? So the variable is moving from all left to all right, and it's part of our human journey. It's the journey through history. The journey through history is moving through that left upper connection to the right connection to understand how we see the world through the history of humanity. And then if you look at this middle here, this middle combination where we have 2 left, 2 right here, where whenever you have, these combinations of where the body is the left and the right, and the personality is the left and the right, like we see here in this example here, we see somebody whose body and mind are zigzagging through time and space. So what you're saying that someone who is quad left will naturally connect well with someone else that is quad left. Yes. So there is a very special dynamic and connection with these 4 arrows moving the same way. And there are 16 variations, right? There are 16 variations. Is that a wow for you? Right? We're going to take the depth and I'm going to share with you what it means for each combination. And each combination is very, very different. This is not something I have ever done before. I have never gone through all of these variables before, and I've never seen a teacher do it. I mean, I'm sure teachers have to. I'm not saying I'm the only one in history to do it. But if you want to go on this journey, we're going to go through each person's variable on a very, very deep level. So you guys are going to be able to really connect with other people with that variable. You're going to learn how these 4 connect with each other. And it's going to be an incredible, powerful way to understand how variable operates without the base, the tone, the color. Okay, so that means it's just going to be this journey. Okay, so now before I go into the classes, I would love to know how did this land for you guys? Did this make sense? Is there questions about what we've covered so far? PLR and DRR. So PLR, that's personality left, right, and the D. So what she's looking at here is this is the way you kind of look at it in this chart. She's got the PLR and then she's got the DRR. So we come down here, right? So this particular square. So we have a lot of right facing information for her, but yet her mind is strategic, brings in a very different way to see the world. She got a very intense way of focusing in, and yet it's in direct dichotomy of how part of the mind works and how the body is working. And by the way, Carrie, that is Davidian and I's exact one too. Are the variables for arrows derived from the base entry or the tone inner frequency? It's the tone. The tone 1, 2, and 3 is the left, and 4, 5, and 6 is the right. So it's based on the tone. It makes so much sense, right? Yes. How do we determine the line color? So the line color is based on the second number. So base tone, so it enters in base tone color line, but we look at it from the other way when you look at it in a chart. So it's the second number that you're going to see. The first one is the profile, yeah, and then the next one is the color. I'm not clear about variables. It's helpful to know the arrows affect how we connect with others deeply, deeply. What's with the colors, the blue, the yellow, the green, the orange? Why are they grouped? Ah, good question. The colors on the squares are very, very important. Okay, they're very important because it's how we are understanding and grouping the variables. Okay, it's very important how we group all these arrows together. That's where we're going to begin when we dive into the class. Because it's kind of, yeah, it's a different way of kind of understanding how these all operate, and the squares are very magically placed. And so each of the colors in the squares are connected to each other. And that's really how we understand and learn how these variables interact with each other through the colors. So it's not in the same way that you're going to see the colors. For example, it's not the same way that you're going to see the colors here in the centers. It's how we understand the variable and the connection with each other's. Quite interesting. My husband and I variable only have one arrow the same, but we do complement each other really well. Oh, wow. Yeah. So, the thing is remember, there's a lot of things in a partnership chart. Okay. There's a lot of things in a partnership chart that brings you the connection to another person. This is just one other area. It's not everything. There's a lot, when we do the partnership course, which we're going to do again this year, we go through all of the many ways that charts can connect. Okay. This is just one way that the charts connect. So how many of you would like to come to the first variable class? We do not have the first date yet, but this is when I'm going to be pulling up your charts, really going deep, going into the advanced concepts, really going into your chart, giving you readings, the whole 9 yards. I want to give you guys the opportunity to look into this if you are interested. So here is our course on variable, and we do not have the dates set yet, but I do want to give you guys the information if you're feeling the pull to jump in to the course. I am really, really excited to go through it. And this is just a way to very, very deeply understand how you're going to operate. When I bring this forward for people, a lot of people are like, I don't fully understand. I don't fully relate to that. And the reason why is because we're only looking at the third arrow, or you could say in the personality arrow, okay? It's only one way in which these four dimensions are pulling against each other. Okay. So there's like these dynamic pulls and variations that are pulling. And if you're only looking at one, you can't really decipher why you're getting pulled in so many different directions. Right. So this is why we need to look at all of the arrows and how they're operating together. So I want to give you guys an opportunity to go ahead and look at this page in more depth. Give yourself some time to kind of contemplate if you're curious about it. The chat. I want to give you guys the link if you guys are curious to jump in and explore this on a deeper level. I know a lot of you already have been emailing me. How do I join? What do I do? How do I come in? How do I go deeper into this? How do I get my advanced chart? Here are the details with that. If you guys would like to jump in, it's a super, super fun experience. We're going to go only for 2 months. It's experience with 3 one way and 1 another. It's complicated. I really do feel that it's complicated in the way that you are accessing your ability to manifest, accessing your ability to focus. All of these things are affected in how you're understanding these dynamics, right? All your cognitive information is affected in how these arrows are going. And so when you're really, really open, what happens is you take the world in through lots of different vibrational frequencies. So, for example, when you're really open and you have a lot of arrows going to the right, if you guys need to leave, go ahead. You don't need to let me know. You don't need to let me know if you can't afford it right now. You don't need to do that. If you are interested in jumping on and you want to go deeper, reach out to me and I will take you through the journey. Um I've seen this so beautifully transforms people's ways of dealing with money as well. It's really, really powerful how it operates. Um So I'm top two to the right, two to the left. Is that why sometimes filled in two different directions? That's a big part. Yeah. And that's a big part of why we think we're creating something, but we get pulled in opposite directions. We don't know what to create. We don't know which way to go. All of those things are absolutely reasons why or even you go to create something and you're pulled in different directions. So for me, when you have a lot of openness and what you're doing is you're not just getting the specific information, you're taking in all of the vibrations, the frequencies, people's thoughts, you're taking in like all the dynamics, right? And when you're taking in all those dynamics, you don't know exactly how to and where to and when to bring in the focus. And when you bring in the focus, and by the way, if you guys need to reach out to me privately, I'm seeing a couple of the private chats coming in and asking questions about signing up for the course, please reach out to me. I'm happy to take you through privately any other questions that you have. It's harder for me to do the privates if they're coming in right now in the context of the group, but I'm happy to spend time with you to see if this is something that is good for you or you want to join in. And I really want to thank you all for showing up live and those of you guys listening to the recordings and those of you guys who are kind of reaching out wanting to go deeper into the class. um it's going to be super powerful. And the other thing that's really part of this as well, it's helping and private coaching on what it is that you are manifesting in your life, because everybody's manifesting something completely different. They're manifesting the right relationship. You're manifesting better health. You're manifesting um, a business. This is where the coaching comes in. And this is where the piece comes in to support you on what it is in your chart that's creating these kind of functions in different directions. So it's going to be a really powerful journey. And I'm seeing your guys' questions coming in. This link again, for those of you who want more information, you want to look at this in more depth. And for those of you who want to reach out to me privately, you have questions, you want to explore this a little bit more, I'm happy to jump on a call with you to look at your chart, see if it's correct for you, and kind of go a little bit deeper. There is one spot left in my mastermind group as well. I'm not bringing in like opening the full doors, but if one of you is here going, I need one-on-one support. I want to be in a group of one-on-one environment where I'm getting coaching, I'm getting support. You're looking at what's going on, what my deeper questions are. I can talk to you about that as well. I would love to invite you in and see if it's the right fit for you. It's an incredible group where we're really talking all the things human design as well as how to really integrate it. So there's only one spot really that I'm opening up for the mastermind, but the variable is open. The doors are open, and I'd love to invite you guys in. I hope you join in. If you want to take a couple of the first classes, just reach out to me and I'll work it out for you guys. I really like to make really, really easy payment structures for you guys so it's doable for you. It's a really affordable time to kind of hold your spot. And I work with you on payment plans if you need that as well. So I will leave it here for today. Thank you guys so much. I can't wait to see you in the class. Those of you that are like super excited to jump in and learn more and go deeper, I'd love to share with you. And for those of you who just love the material and love to learn, um, you know, stay in the conversation. Follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram, follow me on YouTube. I love going deep and I love sharing with you and sharing with the community on every level that you're here to learn. So thank you guys so much. I love you all and I will look forward to seeing you in the class.